Chris, when you look at this FSU offense and all the numbers they're putting up, does it take you back to your Big 12 days? Remind you of any of the offenses you had to go up against there?
You kind of saw those numbers every week, you know. When you have Tannehill, Griffin, those quarterbacks in your league that you see all the time, and Whedon and those guys, they're going to put up those kind of numbers, especially when they got the weapons on the outside with the receivers and stuff like that. Very similar from Florida State, and they got the running backs behind there also. That, you know, you look at the numbers and they're a little more skewed to the running game, and they got two running backs that average almost 10 yards a carry. So they got the big play threat with those guys that you usually see just in your passing game and those passing offenses. So they got it in both areas. And they can throw the ball downfield too, especially with the play-action pass. And the quarterback is also a run threat too. When you got positive numbers like he has, usually when you get your sacks counted to get you, they don't have positive yards as a quarterback, but he does. And he's got significant per attempt when he's gaining too. So that's also a factor.
When you look at their running backs, the two running backs that they need, the two different types of running backs. You get one's a power, more of a power guy, Thompson, you know, can get outside because of speed. How much of a problem does that cause the defense when you have two different backs?
I'm sure they're going to feature certain runs for those guys too, you know, that they're going to play to their strengths. And Thompson obviously has the speed. He's also a pretty good receiver out of the backfield. You look at the receiving numbers, he has a lot of them. And you know, he has the sweep kind of style runs that he can run, but he also can hit it up inside there, and the other guy can run behind his pads pretty well. And you know, you're gonna have to be in a good football position and have your pads out when you tackle him and knock him back. So, you know, that poses a problem because one guy's gonna slip you and outrun you, the other guys are trying to run and put a hole in you. So, as your defense, you gotta know who's in there and what kind of runs you might be possibly getting.
They put up tons of yards and points the first 3 or 4 weeks. What do you dial up to try to slow that down?
You know what you got to do? You got to do what you do, and do what you do best. And you know, we're trying to improve right now. You know, certain things we're doing good, and certain things we got to improve at as a defense. But you know, you can't be all just one-dimensional either in your approach. But you can't reinvent the wheel either. And you got to get your kids what they're comfortable, you know, executing on defense, and make them respond and relate to what they're going to see each week. And so, you know, defense is about recognition and reaction, and you got to recognize what you're getting and react fast to it. And the part of coaching is getting that recognition, reaction time, you know, down to nil. It's happening fast, and you're playing fast, you're playing on your toes, and you're pressing line of scrimmage, and you're knocking people back. And each week, you got to adapt your defense to what you're going to see on offense. And I think our kids right now, at this time, really got a positive approach and really working hard and diligently to get better.
Some of the players were mentioning they feel they need to attack more and take it to them. Have you seen them kind of be back on their heels a little bit the last few weeks, or they fall into tendencies where they're not attacking?
There's some calls you have, you're making them attack too, and you know, we got to do that a little bit better when you're calling them and attacking them. You got to put your hand in the dirt, and you get your pads out and go for it. And that's what we coach, and that's what we want to get done. And you know, we got to instill that better. We got to do a better job of coaching it and executing it.
Coach, the defensive line, we're talking about how you guys are facing a lot of maximum protection type schemes and a lot of quick passes designed to limit their ability to get to the quarterback. What kind of things can you do to counteract that and to let the D-line still be a presence even when the offense is trying to get rid of the ball as quickly as they have been?
Well, if they're slide protecting, you got to come off some edges. That's one way they're doing it. And a lot of the three-step passing game is when you're in the shotgun, is catch and throw. And a lot of times, to affect that is sometimes you know, where you rush and where your lanes are, and sometimes you can affect the pressure by just being in a lane and knocking the ball down too to affect your quarterback. So that's something we can do with what we got right now, and bringing some edge pressure on.
Is this team just better at pretty much all the positions than anything you've seen, or how do these guys?
Florida State, they're an excellent team. You know, not only are they, you know, you look at them athletically, but they do the little things well. And they play great fundamentals. There's not a bunch of guys out there running around. There's a rhyme and reason for what they're doing, and they come off with flat backs up front, the O-line, and got their pads out, and they knock people back. And the running backs run behind their pads also. So you got speed and you got technique. You got some, you got guys that are executing playing.